What's going on, everybody? Oliver Ford here, coming to you from Maysville, North Carolina. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Guardian Angel. Thank you for my life, definitely. I have a good life. Been through some things, but I have a good life. Thank you, Creator. So, let me tell y'all a little story. This is an update. I'm going to try to make this video short. So, before, I used to be in the mental health field. I've done lawn care, nursing, all of that stuff. And one of the things that stood out to me while I was doing all this stuff is I always needed to conform. When I got into nursing, you had to look a certain way, dress a certain way, and so forth. When I got into cleaning, I own a cleaning company. They said, well, in order for you to get customers in, you have to look a certain way, do certain things, dress a certain way. Okay. I had to change my hair. I had braids, and they say, oh, well, they look at you different and so forth. So I had to take my braids out, get a nice clean cut and all that. Then one day, I said to myself, why? Why am I doing all that? Why am I conforming? That's not me. And I stopped. This is how my hair grows naturally. What am I conforming to? This is how my beard grows naturally. What am I conforming to? I'm not conforming anymore. This is me. This is what you get. What you see is what you get. I believe I'm a good person. Those that know me knows I'm a good person. But one thing is, the people that know me are telling me you need to conform in order to run for this office. No, I'm not conforming. I refuse to conform. If you're voting for the same people that dresses in suits and tie and clean cut and all that, and they're screwing you over, you want me to conform to look like them so I can start screwing you over? I refuse to conform anymore. I don't conform. This is how I drive. I dress comfortable. I dress how I feel. If I feel like wearing, and trust me, I feel relaxed. I feel like wearing sweats, I wear sweats. T-shirt, I wear t-shirt. But this is me. Anyway, enough about that. So I went to a meet the candidate meeting forum yesterday. Yesterday or the day before? Yesterday, I went there. Anyway, so this was at the city hall, and learned a few things at this meeting. I learned that it was put on by the Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce, so there was no public interaction as far as public asking them questions. And I consider them the Mike Tyson questions. Because I remember back in the day, we used to watch Mike Tyson, and he was complaining that they was asking questions that are too hard, or some crap like that. One of the interviewers that was asking questions that were too hard. But I guess it would be the opposite, because the softball questions they were asking was ridiculous. Plus, the people that were in office prior, it's like they had the answers to all. They had the perfect answers. They had the political answers down to a science. One person on there, her name was Whitney Cantrell, I believe. Anyway, she was the most genuine person up there that I saw. That's my opinion. Because when the other ones that's been in government for a while, when they were giving their answers, they look around the room, and the older folks and the established folks were like, they like those answers. They like those prefabricated answers. They like those political answers. You know, we're short housing and infrastructure. We need to build the infrastructure. The people down here where I'm at, that's the least of our worries. The first thing on our worry is how expensive shit is. You know, he in the meeting they said they were talking about a house shortage. I don't see a shortage. I see expensive as hell. That's what I saw. And the person that was sitting next to me, that's what they saw. But they continue. One person even mentioned jail and the accommodation of jail and, making it livable. They don't give a shit. I've been to jail. They corrupt. Well, let me not get into that. But I've been to jail. And I see the conditions. The conditions are horrible in jail. And it extends from the public. They charge you for every single thing. If you don't sign their paper saying you're going to pay them money and so forth and so on, you ain't seeing no nurse. You ain't seeing shit. Ain't nobody dealing with you. It's a money system. All of it a money system. But anyway, I look at all that, all their answers and everything, and I'm like, if that's what you're expecting from me, it's not going to happen. I'm down here. I try to do good every day. I help as much people as I can. It's not hard. And if you're familiar with my Facebook page, I post that all the time. It's not hard, people. It's not hard to be a good person. It's not hard to help your fellow man. And I've been doing that for years. You hear them talk and they said, oh, we used to do this. Well, to me, they're out of touch. They're out of touch with the communities. Well, let me rephrase that. They're out of touch with the poor communities. They're out of touch with the people that's struggling. They're out of touch with them. They might be in touch with the high society, and so forth in Onslow County, but they're out of touch with the regular folks. The ones that are struggling, to pay their bills, to put food on their table, the homeless, they're out of touch with them. They're out of touch. I see so many abandoned houses in Onslow County. And when they talk about millions and millions for the budget to do stupid shit, pardon my French, for those people that are going to say, oh, you shouldn't have cursed on the video. If you can't take shit, I'm sorry. If you're expecting anything different from me, don't vote for me. Don't sign a petition, because that's not what I'm about. I'm about actually helping people, making changes. And I'm a firm believer we can. We can change. And I've been saying it forever. Unite. The people need to unite. It's that simple. But anyway, that's my little 2 cents. Everybody, have a wonderful day and go check it out. I plan to be I think there's one in Swansboro today. I'm planning on going to that one. Creative, favors me. I'll be going to that one. But anyway, everybody have a wonderful day. Stay safe. It's muggy outside, starting to rain. And hang in there. Things are going to get better. And look to the Creator. Look to the Creator. Take care.